So Ed, I wanted to talk about plug-in hybrids and full electric cars, and just what is the difference? Because a lot of people are talking about plug-in hybrids. It wasn't really spoken about for the longest time, but now it's kind of entering the fray really as an alternative option. But can you just explain what those are and how they could potentially be the solution for a lot of people?
Well, I think the first thing we need to think about is what's the ultimate goal that we're trying to achieve when it comes to sustainability? So, for instance, is the goal to have everybody on a battery electric vehicle, or is the goal to have people on a more sustainable energy source? And if you look at the latter, then the plug-in hybrid could be a better solution, certainly in the short term, till that magic battery comes around. And the reason for that is if you look at the average number of miles that someone drives globally, and even here in the United States, it's roughly 25 to 30 miles per day. And so there really is only going to be a need for that 200 to 400 mile range for that occasional longer trip that you take. So when you're going to take that longer trip, maybe you have an ICE vehicle as a backup, or you could have a plug-in hybrid, which will have an internal combustion engine to pick up when you run out of battery power, which eliminates the number one objective to electric vehicles, which is range anxiety or not knowing if you're going to have a place to recharge. So, but what is a plug-in hybrid? Because there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. There's the series hybrid. And what a series hybrid does is it's pure electric drive, and the internal combustion engine kicks in when your battery power gets low and it charges the battery. So you're always on electric drive. Now, the advantage to that is it's a little bit less complexity. However, the disadvantage is when you're on the highway, say for that longer trip, you have mechanical energy that's going to be converted to electric energy and then converted back to mechanical energy. So on the highway, it's going to be less efficient than a direct drive from the internal combustion engine. Now, the other way you can do it is a parallel hybrid. On a parallel hybrid, the electric portion and the internal combustion engine can both drive the wheels directly. So you have better efficiency on the highway because you can basically run it like an internal combustion engine. However, it is much more complex. So the question becomes is how could a plug-in hybrid, and I would say that the series hybrid is probably the way to go. How could it make it so that people would be more willing to drive in electric mode or drive in a mode where you are using a more sustainable power source? So with your series hybrid, typically right now you'll see you can buy one in that 50-mile range on the electric side. On the highway side for that occasional trip, the amount of power you actually need on the highway is not really that high if you wanted to go 50, 60 miles per hour. The BMW i3 had only 34 horsepower on its ICE engine. So by combining a longer range on the battery side, say maybe 50 to increasing that to say 100-mile range on the battery side, a much smaller internal combustion engine on the internal combustion side, you start to achieve for most trips running on electric power. You reduce the number of batteries, which brings down the cost of a electric drive car because batteries can be anywhere from 30 to 40%. And really in the short term, before battery technology becomes more economical and more reliable to give you the range you need, that 300 to 400 mile range, it would be a great solution to get people driving on sustainable electric power without the range anxiety because you've got that little internal combustion engine there to back you up.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And at the end of the day, that would significantly reduce the actual emissions you'd be making. And yeah, get rid of the range anxiety because that is a big reason why a lot of people don't get electric cars or certain plug-in hybrids or whatever, just because of that. So yeah, no, that's really good stuff, Ed. Thanks for summing that up. And if you want to ask us another question, if you want to learn about another subject, Ed's a former VP of Siemens Motorsports, so he's very experienced on a lot of topics when it comes to engineering and the automotive industry. All right, guys, see you for the next one.